This is not the typical American success story. It is about a man scorned from his peers, yet innovative enough to gain recognition as a cutting-edge artist who, as you will find out, beat every major music trend in the past 40 years to the punch with his intuitive thinking and uncompromised style. Our story begins in the old factory town of Fall River, Massachusetts, where this musical genius honed a love for music like nothing else, except for maybe the mail.
Mr. Magoo, your wife had a healthy baby boy.
Let's name him Ron.
He was a bloody genius. Talented, a visionary, and one of the most annoying people I've ever worked with.
Ron was a weird guy, but don't you gotta love that?
Unlike any other child of war, Ron's battles were met more on the streets of Fall River.
Being the son of a Portuguese immigrant family, it was tough growing up in Fall River. I remember one day I put some mustard on my cerise sandwich, you know? Things were never the same with my friends after that.
And his parents?
My father never touched me, though. You can get that out of your head.
After a relatively uneventful childhood, Ron began to notice some changes during adolescence.
All of a sudden, I was growing hair all over me. My little Ronnie, it was out of control. I didn't know what to do with it.
Ronnie! You coming down to dinner?
Don't come in! Now you're too late! And that's how my mother died.
The death of Ron's mother, though tragic, awakened a creative energy in this young lad. He turned to music for solace and unleashed the sound and fury.
This was the first real turning point in my life. Watching my mother drop dead like that really put things into perspective. I never really talked to my father, so I turned all my energy to music and started composing. I love Stu,
Ron's mother had always made stew for him, and the fond memories were something he could never get away from. Stew became a metaphor for the maternal love that had been so painfully torn away from him. These feelings would surface in his first composition, I Love Stew. Although the song never charted, a British quartet some years later scored a big hit with a similar sound, yet never cited Ron as an influence.
I wasn't mad the Beatles had a hit with a sound I pioneered. I just figured I'd have my day someday.
Ron knew if he wanted to make it, he'd have to put together a band.
I think the first time I met Ron was 1961. At the time I was playing drums at the Venus de Milo. I was doing the usual, weddings, bar mitzvahs, funerals, Christmas shows, going nowhere. So one day Ron comes in looking for some Portuguese stew. He could never get enough of that shit. He was a weird little guy, but he always used to come and see me play. So one day he finally comes up to me and says, "I want you to be in my band."
Do I want to be in your band? I looked at this little guy and I said, "Are you nuts? What do you play?" He said he had some songs written and he wanted to get some people together. I was still skeptical, but I agreed to jam with him. I figured I had nothing to lose, being from Fall River and all.
Hey boys, thanks for coming out today. I really think we can get a good home belly groove going. What do you say?
Definitely, man.
I'm sorry I'm late. I'm working down at the shop, you know, and we have this cool T-bird that I was fixing. Man, I could really cruise in that with some chicks, don't you think?
Yeah, that's a good car for that, Ronnie.
That sounds boss.
Yeah. Anyway, I thought, oh, did you see Ozzy and Harriet last night?
I don't watch
Oh.
American TV.
Ricky sang this great song at the end. And in fact, inspired me to come up with a song I'll play for you in a second. But I thought we'd just start with some 12-bar blues and A, okay?
Alrighty.
I'll turn up the groove, you come in on the D. Ready? Oops. So I convinced these two guys to come over. I banged out some of my tunes for them. We got a good groove going, too. We're doing up some R&B and rockabilly and skiffle. It was an exciting time in my life. Even more exciting than that, unfortunate incident with my mother. All right, the first song I thought I'd try with you guys, and this could be a real hit on American Bandstand, I think, if we play our cards right. It's in E, and it goes to an F. Let me give you a little feel of it and see if you can follow along, okay? Ready? What's the matter?
Ronnie, you'll never get that shite on top of the pubs.
Shite? What's that mean? We're in America now, Limey.
I was given tours down at Battleship Cove. I knew one day my ship would come in. One day during Fall River Celebrates America, I decided to get out of work early and go check out the bands that were playing down on the pier. You know, those Tata-Ching bands? I remember I really wanted to see the headliner band, Prince Henry and the Navigators. Oh, did I want to see them. When I got down there, though, this band that was playing was really making everyone shaking. The whole joint was shaking. They sounded amazing, especially the lead singer's voice. When the set was over, which only lasted around 15 minutes, I decided to go up and say hi, introduce myself, and see if they had a manager. We started talking, and you know, I never did get to see Prince Henry and the Navigators.
In rock and roll, Masco, we drum on 2 and 4. I don't know what you do there at the Venus, but 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Alright, sorry, Ron. Too many weddings.
Let's try it for the first verse. Yeah, Bertie, you kinda got it. Groove with me a little. Right on the verse. 1, 2, 3, 4. You take your love.
The pieces began to fall into place, starting with a few parties, then moving into the local club scene. The Ron Ragu trio took southeastern Massachusetts by storm. As they became more and more popular, their fan base grew. And with that fame came the benefits of being a rock and roll star.
I was getting women every night. I know my wife doesn't want me talking about this, but it just came with the stardom. The band was hot, and So was I.
It was crazy how the women threw themselves at him. We used to go to Denny's after each and every gig. All I can say is one night, Ron left there with 3 women and enough pudding to last him through the night.
In actuality, the women were for me, and the pudding was for Ron.
Percy was a typical bass player, jealous of the lead singer getting all the babes. Let's just say I had my pudding and ate it too. But all that changed when I met the love of my life, Francine.
In those days, we get out early from Stop and Shop, and me and the girls would head straight to the clubs. I remember the first time I saw Ronnie up there shaking his cherise. It was like whoosh! Electricity right through my body. And one day, I finally got up the nerve to go backstage and meet him.
Best show you've ever seen. Yeah,
A lot of people.
I know, the place was packed. I can't believe it. That was really good. They're going to be going places. You know.
I thought you went over really well. You really like that woo-woo stuff.
Yeah. We gotta go, Ron. We'll see ya.
All right, boys.
Cheers.
Good show. All right. Who's next? I want your piece of my cherise.
Hi, can I have that piece?
Whoa. That's my kind of woman. What's your name? Doll.
Francine.
Francine. Francine. Yaki. Vaparakaya. Vaparakaya. Kalabuka. Francine. Yaki. Vaparakaya. Kalabuka. Kalabuka. I love you, I love you, I love
So came to be Ron's first ballad. Francine, moved by the song, fell instantly in love, and they were soon married. However, Ron's temper, combined with the uncertain nature of his career, soon soured their wedded bliss.
I grew tired of sex with the same person. I thought I'd remedy the situation by putting a crucifix over the bed.
Ronnie, I got something to tell you.
Huh? Oh no! What the? No!
But he didn't put it up soon enough. Francine discovered she was pregnant. Though Ron was upset at first, the birth of their child, Ronnie Jr., proved beneficial for the both of them. She could focus on the baby, and he concentrated even more on his music in order to be a good provider.
All these changes in Ron's personal life deeply affected the trio. He seemed to be getting more and more into organized religion. The members of the band thought he was getting a little soft on rock and roll.
Marriage always destroys a man. I had my reservations about Ron being a frontman. Rock and roll needs someone bold, not someone whipped.
The times were changing, and Ron seemed to have a sixth sense of what was happening in America. The sound of the trio started to change. Ron's musical experimentation flourished in the heady atmosphere of flower power.
Civil rights, Vietnam, Kennedy assassination, the pill, Malcolm X's tragic death, the mail, free love, and of course the drugs, my favorite, LSD. All these things were a powerful influence on me. When I went back to the band, I tried to harness all that into the music. I used to sit on the corner of Columbia and South Main. That's where everyone used to gather. And I'd play my guitar. One day I came up with this little song. Turn off your mind, relax, and get some stew. It is not easy. It is not easy.
Well, that music was out there all right, but I don't know nothing about no drugs.
Although innovative, Ron's sound failed to land him a record deal, but it didn't stop him from pursuing this style of music.
At the time, J. Edgar Hoover was head of the FBI, and any sort of agitator was being closely watched. So Ron and I got together and decided to talk about which direction the band would head in. I urged him to back off the protest music and stick to more light, marketable stuff. But at Ron's insistence, the band went ahead and recorded a song, a protest song, mind you, called No Parade for Me. Using my influence, I made sure that the song was never picked up.
He tricked me. I thought we had an understanding that we were going to record both types of music. I mean, why the hell would I record the damn thing if I didn't think it was going to be released? I liked it, the band liked it, my wife liked it, everyone but Stu thought it was great. I was on to something big, but I was artistically stifled by this Jew.
Well, it really was the first protest song out there. Dylan, Peter, Paul, and Mary, Country Joe. Ron had them all beat. You can check yourself. It was an amazing song. The first time he played it for us, I knew there was something special. There was a certain magic when he was singing it. I look at him, he'd look at me, and we just smiled, thinking this is it. And I suppose that makes it all the more a shame that the world never got to hear it.
It was a great song, better than that other protest crap that came out later.
Upon further reflection, this was a costly mistake. But I had no idea that these freaks would go for this shit.
Now, for the first time in 30 years, Ron has agreed to play the song that caused so much furor. Here it is, No Parade for Me.
When I came back from Nam, I was alarmed that there was no parade for me. When I came back from there, no one gave a damn. There was no parade for me. No parade for me. No parade for me. Hippies, can't you see? No parade for me. Being a vet, I got no respect, and there was no parade for me. Putting in my time, it wasn't worth the time, and there was no parade for me. No parade for me. No parade for me. Hippies, can't you see? There's no parade for me. I did my job, but what was it good for? Absolutely nothing. Guys, there was no parade for me. No parade for me. No parade for me. Hippies, can't you see? There's no parade for me. No parade for me. Oh, no parade for me. Hippies, can you see? There was no parade for me.
After the controversy surrounding No Parade for Me, the band's spirit was deflated. They carried on through the rest of the decade, never scoring a commercial hit as the music scene seemed to pass them by.
We still had a strong following at the clubs, though at times we were just going through the motions. Maybe we would have kept going too. But then Woodstock came. Stu booked us for it, and they asked us to close the show. We were wondering what to play, and I came up with the idea of doing the Star Spangled Banner.
But it was not to be. Stu booked them on a discount bus line scheduled to depart Saturday afternoon.
We were concentrating on our set, so no one paid attention to all those TV and radio reports about the traffic. We never made it out of Connecticut. Hey, can I turn it off? 1, 2, 3. Hey! Look, my boy! This is my band, this is my song, and we'll turn it when I want. 2, 3, 4. Oh, no, gee! What are you guys, idiots? 1, 2, 3, 4. No! Could you sound any crappier? What's wrong with you? You smoking mod boy? Get that out of my face! Turn it down, turn it up,
Alright.
something!
Hey, Ron. Lay off a little, huh?
Listen, Vasco. Maybe you can play on a beat and leave you off. Try it again.
Listen, I booked the bus only after I checked with the promoters, who told me it was some small gig at a farm. How was I supposed to know?
The Woodstock fiasco brought matters to a head. The band took a break, each member going off to pursue separate interests. Ron himself took a much-needed vacation.
Man, that Woodstock, man, that would have been so groovy. But Stu, he sold us out, man. He sold us out to the man. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I'm just saying, man. Maybe we should take a vacation, Ronnie.
Yeah, groovy.
We have any facts?
Francine and I never really left the city. So with the time off, we decided to take a trip down south to New York City. Francine was very excited about the trip.
I had never had a vacation from Stop and Shop, and it was good to spend some time together as a family. Ron really needed a break after all that had happened.
Though Ron went to New York to escape the music, ironically, his trip proved to be a turning point in his musical career. Ron and Francine spent a great deal of time taking in the New York nightlife, and there Ron discovered a new form of music.
What's wrong with my one?
She's dead, honey.
There was quite a groove going down in those dance clubs, and I got real hip to that jive.
Ron returned to Fall River re-energized about his music. He had a new look and a new sound. Enthusiastic, he reconvened the band. He told them what he had seen and heard and eagerly pushed for a new direction to the music. However, despite repeated attempts to convince his bandmates, they didn't share his vision. Ron's stubbornness on the issue eventually broke apart the trio, for good. Unbeknownst to him, the other band members came out with their own solo projects.
Well, after Woodstock, it was pretty much over. When we took that break, I didn't think we was going to be getting back together as a band. When Ron came back from New York, he was really hip into that disco jive stuff. But me and Percy, we couldn't get into it. Ron was insisting that we grow big afros and huge sideburns, wear sunglasses, flashy clothes. He really thought this look and sound was going to make him big. But that wasn't music to me. I went back to the Venus to play weddings. That music had purpose.
He was totally missing the point. At the time, we really didn't see any future in this dum-dee-dee-dum-dee-dee-dum-dee-dee-dum. To me, the real future was in alt rock. Bands like Yes, King Crimson, Jethro Tull, ELP. They were really pushing the boundaries of pop. I decided that's where I should be.
Maybe I wasn't fully explaining my vision. The 60s were over. All people wanted to do was dance and fuck. I'm sorry, I probably shouldn't say fuck. But let's face it, that's all people wanted to do. AIDS wasn't brought about overnight, you know. What's that? Oh, yeah, the vision thing. The idea was to combine the showmanship of glitter rock with what the funksters were doing in New York City. But Vasco and Percy, they just couldn't see it.
The New York City scene really changed things for Ronnie, but not always for the best. Sure, he had a vision, but his lifestyle was changing, and I had to deal with that too.
After the breakup was official, Ron, still inspired, pursued this new music. Ron's new band was double the size of the trio. It's quite ingenious how Ron came up with this combination. In fact, it was very pioneering.
Well, with my big ideas, I needed a big sound. A trio just wasn't gonna cut the mustard. I kept adding members till I got exactly the sound I wanted. The name of the new band was Wild Charisse, because like Charisse, this band was hot, spicy, and fat. No! You like to strike before the storm. You're on. Keep trying now. No! Try again. No! There you go! You hear me? That, yes! Major stuff. Pick that up. Did you get the mail? Did you do it the way I told you to? Put it on the table. Oh yeah, that looks good. Now you can do a little dance, make a little love. Get Ron tonight. This song had all of Fall River hopping. I mean, people didn't know it hit them. That extended jam part in the middle? Why'd it go on so long? People didn't care. They were all doing coke.
Wild Charisse did achieve the big sound Ron was looking for. However, once again, the world was not ready and Ron's band flopped. The critics in the local paper panned his music as drawn out and monotonous. Some went so far to say that Ron was taking advantage of people's drug addictions with this music. Whatever his motivations, it did not affect the success, or lack thereof, of Wild Charisse. With Wild Charisse dissolving and Ron bandless once more, he went to where he usually did, back home to Francine. Francine, whose Stop and Shop paycheck was barely covering the mortgage and little Ronnie Jr.'s expenses, was very glad to see Ron. Frustrated, he continued to search for a new direction.
Although he felt defeated and the money was tight, I was glad that Ronnie came home. He needed to spend more time with me and Ronnie Jr. Oh, Ronnie, how you doing, sweetie? Are you almost done with the shorts? Don't quit your mouth. I cannot deal with this mouth. I'm sick of this mouth. You're crying out loud.
Daddy, how come you don't have a band like these guys?
This stuff is all passe. Like that disco crap. I got him in all first. Turn this crap off. Yeah. What aren't you real music?
Ron's new venture was hip, and it got people hopping, so he called it hip-hop. However, he was starting to play the part a little too much. Here's an excerpt from an interview in 1978.
So, tell us, where did you get the idea to do this so-called talking funk?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say what up to my homies down in the Flint. What's up, fellas? Well, you see, I was at home, I was screaming at my hoe, and my kid was playing some records by some of these white bands, and there was this groove going, and I was real angry, about the man keeping me down and all, and I started talking, and the next thing I knew, what I was saying and the music started to blend together.
Well, don't you feel that you could be ripping off some of the other artists by using their music repeatedly in what you're calling your music?
The black man has been ripped off by the white man in the music industry since the beginning. Chuck Berry, Little Richard, Howlin' Wolf, Rick James, these are just a few of the brothers that have lost out to the white man's greed. Ain't it about time the black man got some of it back?
But you're not black.
Nail on the table.
It seemed that Ron was just not convincing enough as a ghetto boy, and began to really alienate himself from the little fan base he had, and from anyone who was working with him on this project. Also, his manager was insisting that talking about the meh heard here was a much stronger release than a nonsensical loop song Ron had been writing.
Once again, Ron and I got into a real tiff about which song we would push on the public. In the end, though, it was clear that talking about the mayor had a real rap style and sound. That loop song sounded like some sort of psychedelic hippie experiment crap. That rap music really put a strain on Ron and I's relationship. But you know Ron, he can never admit he's wrong about anything.
Talking about the me.
Ron never really won this battle, and eventually drove everyone associated with his work away from him. This left Ron very bitter, and he went into seclusion, leaving his music behind and returning to his family. However wonderful this may sound, it was not to be. Ron began drinking heavily and taking drugs. The strain he once put on Stu was now being put on his family. It was not a great time in his life.
This part of my life is difficult to talk about. I was beginning to realize that my dreams of rock stardom were drifting away. Musically, I was drained. The creative juices had run dry. The only thing I could muster up was this little ditty. Hi, my name is Ron Rico. Yes, my name is Ron. Yes, my name is Ron Rico. RONRADO. Hi, my name is Ron Rico. Yes, my name is Ron.
He was so tough to live with at this point. He was constantly hiding the booze. Some days he would lie in bed all day. He'd lie there, moaning and speaking gibberish, always muttering something about the mail.
Oh, Ronnie, what's wrong with you? You gotta snap out of this boozing and the drugging. You can't be doing this.
Mail.
Mail, what are you talking about? Honey, Ronnie, talk to me. Here, if anything, you should be taking these pills. Here, take these, honey. Take the gosh darn pills.
Table.
What about the table?
Mail.
Don't worry about the mail on the table. You need to get better. You need to get help, honey. Oh, gosh, let's say a prayer. Come on, Ronnie, pray with me. Pray with me.
As you can see, that was a total piece of crap. And I blamed everyone for it. My bandmates' desertion, my manager's indecision. I guess I decided if I wasn't going to be a rock star, I'd start acting like one. I drowned my sorrows in alcohol and Bayer aspirin.
The mail. Where's the mail? I ask you to do one thing for me. Put the mail on the table, right here, when I come home. I want the mail here, once. I'd like to see the mail. Little Kadishka the old kid. What am I going to do with him? What am I going to do with you? How are you going to get through life if you can't even follow a simple direction? Put the mail on the table, right here. That's all I want you to do. That's it. That's all.
He just had to get help. I begged and pleaded with him for weeks. That man can be so stubborn. I mean, come on. Why do you think we only had one kid? I got needs too, you know.
Her pleas, however, fell on deaf ears. Ron was quickly heading towards rock bottom. Desperate for money to support his habits, he entered the seedy world of adult entertainment.
Ron Ragu, yeah, I remember him. The rock band guy, right? He needed some money and he came to me because I'm the money man, so I helped him out. Hey, we wanted a few quick scenes. He wanted the money. I don't keep no books. It's cash only. Ron figured he could work discreetly.
Look, times were tough. I was desperate for cash. My family needed the money. I met this guy who said he could use a voice like mine for some film projects he was working on. I got a little suspicious when I saw the script. However, in my wildest dreams, I had no idea it would end up in some porno movie. Come and get your spicy chorizo, baby.
Oh, baby, I'm all yours.
That wasn't me, I swear it. Somehow they got a hold of my image and they used it. I was exploited by the industry.
Yeah, everything was cool. I got what I wanted, he got what he wanted. Actually, I think he got a little more than what he wanted, you know what I mean?
Somehow I cannot believe that my Ronnie did those porno movies. My Ronnie never even really liked that. Well, you know, that stuff much anyway.
After this episode, his lifestyle got more destructive. Ron's excessive drinking and aspirin taking landed him in the hospital. His speech became impaired as a result of his chemical abuse. As part of his recovery, he entered counseling and speech therapy.
This is when Ronnie hit rock bottom. It was really hard to stay strong during these times, but somehow I managed to get through it. He was really a pathetic sight.
During his sessions, it was discovered that the mail episode had played a very significant role in his dealing with authority figures in his life. In retrospect, it could have led to his difficulties with his manager Stu. Even after a few years of visits, Ron was stubborn on the issue.
Look, rock and roll is a business, and in business, sometimes people disagree. And I believe that my arguments with Stu were artistically warranted, so therefore I'll stand by them. Now, I do admit that my father's scolding on me regarding the mail was not a pleasant experience, but I don't believe it has much impact on my adult life as that dopey doctor said it did. They just want your money, so they say anything.
Well, even if therapy didn't help Ron's personality any, it did help him get off the booze and aspirin. He also got his marriage back on track, put his family life back together. He got a regular job and forgot about rock and roll for a while. It would be 5 years before Ron would even look at his guitar again. He was afraid of stirring up some ill feelings and bad memories. But one day, while Ronnie Jr. and Francine were away, he walked by his guitar and couldn't resist.
I believe I had finally gotten over the issues of my earlier life. I decided to give it one more shot. Only this time, there'd be no pipe dreams. I promised myself I'd be doing it for the fun of it, and that's it. It would be just a hobby.
Ron was so uneasy about starting to play again that when he finally picked up his guitar, he didn't bother to tune it. He just started playing and singing. Pretty soon he started to write some songs, but he maintained that it was nothing serious to his wife.
To keep Francine from freaking out, I kept everything casual. When I got enough material for some gigs, I even dressed casual. I wore some flannel shirts, ripped jeans, just to show her that I didn't care about fame or fortune or any of that other stuff from before. Also, I bought a drum machine and a 4-track recorder so I could record all my material at home.
I had no idea what was going on. I thought he'd had it with music by then. But slowly, I started to figure it out. But I didn't get mad, though. I figured it'd be good therapy for Ronnie to start writing again. Besides, that's what he loved to do, and as long as he was home, I was happy.
Ron's new style of music was definitely new and heavy sounding, but it also reflected things that happened in his life. He seemed to be exercising his demons through his music. Listen to this song called No Mail.
I like watching the table gather mail. All I can do is simply a little slow.
He also wrote about his family life, as heard in the tune Ronnie.
Call me Ronnie. Can you see? I'm trying to watch the TV.
That was a very personal song for me. I found I could really express my anger in this type of music. I just didn't write about my family either. Other things that happened with the band or my manager, they were all incorporated in my music. Take, for instance, the song Stew Man. Now, a lot of people think that's just about my love of stew and stew-related foods. But it also serves as a metaphor for my manager. Stew.
Stew Man was one of Ron's more intricate works to date. Despite Ron's official explanation, the meaning in the title is still somewhat unclear. The mystery is perpetuated first of all by the multitude of food references, such as the chorus, Stew Man, add potatoes and some ham. Feed me frozen dinners and canned spam.
Stew Man, add potatoes and some ham. Feed me frozen dinners and canned spam. Feed me.
Also, 2 versions of the album sleeve were released, one spelling stew as the food, and the other as the name. What makes this suspicious is that Ron was solely in charge of the production, and could not be unaware of the apparent mistake. The song also has a nearly hidden reference to a previously unreleased song, the controversial No Parade for Me. Manager Stu explains.
If you listen closely during the middle break, there's a clear reference to No Parade for Me.
Why not?
This is a clear indication that this song is about me. I, of course, opposed the release of the song back in the 60s. It's as if Ron is saying, hey Stu, why was there no parade for me?
Ronnie never meant to hurt nobody. His songs are about what he felt at the time. You can read almost any meaning in them songs. Personally, I don't know what the hell he's talking about at the time anyway.
No comment.
We wanted to pursue the latest developments in Ron's music, but at this point, Ron became very defensive and lashed out at the film crew.
You know, I don't understand what you want from me. Is my life that interesting? Sure, musically I beat everyone in a punch, but I don't have a penny to show for it. Tough being a poor genius, you know. Do I know what the future holds? Of course not. Do I care? No. Rock and roll owes me. My pending litigation will determine just how much. And that's it. I got nothing more to say. Now get the hell out of my house.
Ron may have lawsuits, but he'll always find a way to shoot himself in the foot. He won't make a penny. I, on the other hand, will make many pennies off of my forthcoming tell-all, No One Here Eats Stew Alive. If you want to know the real truth, read it.
My years with Ron was some of the most exciting of my life. With all the reunion tours going on, who knows? Maybe the Ron and Goo trio will get back together, or at least put out a box set. Yeah, he was a little weird, but most of the great ones are.
It was a bloody bad, alright. Nothing more, nothing less. It's too bad Ron didn't stick with the protest songs. At the end of the day, I still miss getting the birds, but not those god-awful chorizo sandwiches.
I don't know nothing about Ron's music, but if he ever needs any work, hey, I'm always available.
If only the world had a better understanding of my Ronnie. He might have actually been rich and famous. But that would mean I'd have to live in a big house and leave my job at Stop and Shop. Oh, our lives would have been so different. I don't think we were ready for fame anyway.
Ron Ragoo was a man ahead of his time. He articulated vast musical visions, but a backwards public could not grasp these concepts. Ironically, many bands later met with commercial success, using the very sounds Ron had pioneered. Not being referenced has made him bitter. In the story of Ron Ragoo, clearly, something went wrong in the studio.
I love Stu, yeah, yeah, yeah. I love Stu, yeah, yeah, yeah. I love Stu, yeah, 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 yeah. I think for me some Stu, although I may be wrong. I love Stu so much, thought I'd put it in a song. Because I love Stu, and you know they can't be bad. I love Stu, and you knows I should be glad. She said it's supper time. I almost lost my mind. Now she said she knows. She made my favorite kind. Because I love Stu, and you knows it can't be bad. I love Stu, and you knows I should be glad. Oh, I love Stu, yeah, yeah, yeah. I love Stu, yeah, yeah, yeah. And with food like that, you know I should be glad. Now it's up to you. I think it's only fair. You should try some too. It's made with love and care. Because I love Stu, and you know it can't be bad. I love Stu, and you know I should be glad. Oh, I love Stu, yeah, yeah, yeah. I love Stu, yeah, yeah, yeah. And with food like that, you know I should be glad. And with food like that, you know I should be glad. And with food like that, you know I should be glad.